Minister announces 100% buyout of Media Niugini Limited. Telecom PNG CEO confirms Media Niugini Limited Acquisition. Teachers up in arms about leave fares.
This is National MTV News with Meriba Tulo.
Good evening and thank you for joining us for Thursday's news. Telecom PNG Limited has formally acquired 100% of Media Niugini Limited. Public Enterprise and State Investments Minister Ben Maika made the announcement this week, confirming that the National Executive Council had met on December the 8th and given its approval for the 100% buyout of MNL from Fiji Television Limited. Media Niugini Limited and its free-to-air television service of MTV joins FM 100 as the two media broadcasting companies now wholly owned by Telecom PNG.
MTV through Media Niugini Limited is now 100% Papua New Guinea owned. Minister Maika announced that the National Executive Council had met and authorized Telecom PNG to formalize the buyout of Media Niugini from Fiji Television Limited.
On the 8th of December, the National Executive Council approved for a 100% takeover of Media Niugini Limited by our state-owned telecom company, Telecom PNG. Media Niugini Limited, as you all know, is a 100% owned subsidiary of Fiji TV. And it has been operating in Papua New Guinea for quite a very long time. It is a very large viewer base population right throughout the country, and therefore this acquisition is a very strategic move by Telecom PNG and also by the government to be able to utilize this vast television media network to broaden many of the issues that government is promoting throughout the country. And so we are very pleased to support Telecom in this acquisition. And also we are very pleased that at least now the people of Papua New Guinea, through Telecom, can own this very large media network.
The minister says this is just another step in the national government's plans to strengthen its state-owned agencies against commercial threats in the private media and communications sector.
And as you can see, this acquisition will now lead to a streamlining of state ownership and control and management of its media organizations like Kundu TV, MTV, FM 100. As you can see, FM 100 is owned indirectly by the state through Telecom. Yes. NBC is a state radio broadcasting company that has been going on since before independence. And then Kundu, over the last 7 or 8 years, has been established by NBC as a television network owned by NBC. But these media organizations cannot be effective if they are trying to compete amongst themselves and with the private sector media companies with the outdated assets, incapable management strategies that cannot compete with private commercial media organizations. So this move, this acquisition, will now move to a relook at how we can consolidate the state's media organizations and networks like FM 100 radio, NBC radio, NBC TV, and now MTV into one major state-owned media organization.
With the announcement of the acquisition came a reassurance from Minister Maika that there would be no political interference in the core news business of Media Niugini Limited's MTV National News.
Telecom PNG Limited is completely independently operating from political influence. It is operating under the administrative and management control of Kumul Consolidated Holdings, and they only report to me as the minister responsible on matters that need to be brought before cabinet or policy issues that need to be discussed. Otherwise, the operations and the control is left entirely to boards that we have appointed to run and manage these companies. MTV coming into Telecom will very much be the same. They will continue to operate as an independent news broadcasting company through television. And I believe the broadening of the asset infrastructure of towers between B-Mobile and Telecom and NBC will enable the coverage to be much more exposed to a larger population than what it is under MTV as a privately run company.
Neville Choi, National MTV News.
In an exclusive interview with MTV News, Telecom PNG CEO Michael Donnelly said it took some time to finalize the acquisition and Telecom is now ready to move forward.
In an exclusive interview with MTV News, Telecom PNG CEO Michael Donnelly said it took some time to finalize the acquisition and Telecom was now ready to move forward.
It's a great announcement for us and we thank the Minister for his support in the last few days. Telecom, as you know, started talking to Fiji TV earlier in the year and we signed an initial contract which was then difficult for Fiji TV to fulfil. So we pulled back and we renegotiated and over the last 3 or 4 months we've continued to talk to Fiji TV, the owners, and just in the last month or so we got final agreement and the Minister took it to the NEC for approval and today he's announced that, so we're very happy. We're very happy with the work done.
And in response to questions about why a telecommunications company had purchased a television broadcasting company, Mr. Donnelly had this to say.
Well, Media Niugini Limited is a good business. It's got a large viewership. It's got very good people and good capability, particularly in broadcasting, production and so on, probably the premier group in the country. It's got a good business model and it's started to make significant investments in a multi sort of dimensional platform. It already delivers its services today on the internet, television and mobile. And of course with Telecom's other subsidiary FM100 we're going to be able to take the products and services of EMTV to that platform as well. So it is a very good business for us, the people are good, there's a lot of synergies between Telecom and EMTV, particularly in terms of shared infrastructure around the country, towers, power infrastructure, electronic infrastructure, locations where in the future EMTV will be able to house some of its staff, regional staff. We'll get a lot more reporting, I assume, because of those facilities. So there's a whole number of reasons why we acquired EMTV, but fundamentally it's a very good business and we are very happy for it to be owned by a Papua New Guinea company in the form of PNG Telecom.
He also said the delay in the acquisition process was a blessing in disguise.
It's very much so, and one of the benefits of the delayed transaction, if you like, has been that we've been able to work with EMTV management and technology experts around the world. So there's a lot of pre-planning in terms of the new digital platform which EMTV will be rolling out probably beginning the first or second quarter of next year. So we're very happy with that, and of course that platform shares a lot of the infrastructure that Telecom has today. And what it does for Papua New Guineans, it means that their free-to-air current analogue service will be coming to them free to view through a new multi-layered technology platform, and that same platform will be available to other current analogue operators in Papua New Guinea, and so the pre-planning for that is well underway, and now that we've concluded the contract, we'll hit the switch button in terms of that project and that digital rollout.
And what can Telecom customers expect with Media Niugini Limited on board?
Of course, Telecom has a large number of customers today, and one of the things that we're doing across Telecom, well, we're doing many things. It's a company in transformation. We're focusing on certainly upgrading our transmission network across the country, and new sections of that are coming online as we speak. I've just come down from Hagen and Goroka, and both of those links are up and running. So for those corporate customers, at least in the Highlands, they're going to experience a much faster and more reliable internet. And we're also focusing on the access side of our business, which is the part of the infrastructure that connects directly to people's homes and businesses. And so we're spending a lot of money in rehabilitating, extending and upgrading with fibre optics where it makes sense. And internally within the company, we're very much focusing on trying to simplify our business, simplify the customer experience through looking at our own business processes and how can we make that interface between the customer, whether they experience the network or experience us as individuals, a more enjoyable one. And of course, from our perspective, that means that they will continue to stay with Telecom, and hopefully we grow our business with them, and word of mouth, we win more customers back. So they're the things we're focusing on within Telecom, across the sort of strategy. The acquisition of Media Niugini enables us to be able to take a more converged offering to our customers. We're working very closely with B-Mobile in building out a brand new mobile network, alternative to the existing incumbent. So by having our relationship with B-Mobile worked out and being able to offer fixed and mobile services to our customer base and to their customer base, we're now able to offer all the products and services on all the platforms that B-Mobile and EMTV bring to those same customers, and vice versa.
Neville Choi, National MTV News.
You're watching National MTV News. When we come back, police Christmas operations in the NCD, teachers frustrated over leave fares, and the Teaching Service Commission explains the delays in their payments. Welcome back to the news. National Capital District and Central Police Commands have launched their Christmas and New Year operations this morning. This will be one of the biggest operations for the year and will run until January 2016. It was launched with a parade at the Boroko Police Station.
The parade began at the Engel Drive behind the Boroko Police Station to the front. This year, the Mobile Squad and the Australian Federal Police took part in the parade. The host, NCD Police Boss Benjamin Turi, handed over the operations books to NCD and Central Province Assistant Commissioner Sylvester Kalaut, signifying the official launch of the operation.
Let us all be responsible as we are living in this modern era. Let us all make this festive period trouble-free, where everyone can enjoy responsibly.
Kalaut said the crime pattern remains active in the city because more young people are dropping out of school and are resorting to unlawful practices. He urged city residents to celebrate responsibly and respect the rule of law. Kalaut also said that police will not tolerate non-compliant residents.
During such periods, we have drunkards, we have people driving motor vehicles on the streets whilst under the influence of liquor.
The police operation will include drunk and footbeat patrol and road checks.
An inclusion into this year's police operations, police officers will be deployed to traffic lights to ensure that all drivers follow traffic rules. Bastina Tayama, National MTV News.
A strategic plan to decentralize police services within the National Capital District and Central Commands will be launched in January 2016. NCD and Central Divisional Commander, Assistant Commissioner Sylvester Kalaut, says the plan will complement the Royal Papua New Guinea Constabulary's biannual plan of improving police services in the country. The biannual plan was launched during the Commissioners' Conference in the Autonomous Region of Bougainville.
The strategic plan will focus on routine duties and responsibilities on the different areas of operations. It will be an important tool for the police in NCD to utilize and be part of the government's plan for developments within the different electorates. The Gordons, Waigani and Badili stations have been selected to operate as provincial police stations under this plan. This will see the inclusion of Criminal Investigation Division, Traffic and Prosecution Departments at these stations.
One of my approaches is to decentralize police functions from Borogo Police Station to 3 mega police stations in the National Capital District. Taking into account the Commissioner's intention of bringing police services to the people, the National Capital District Command will be zoned into 3 districts according to the city's electoral boundaries.
Last week, the Badili station was officially launched as the mega station for Mosby South electorate. Its refurbishment included 2-story units for police offices and a recreational area. Badili's facelift comes at a time the constabulary is facing serious challenges of limited police resource.
And they can't do their job if they're in an environment that is totally unsuitable for them. They need to be in an environment where they can get up in the morning, have a good feed, wash, dress and come to work. And the good thing is it's right next door to the police station. It allows for us here in Moresby South to have a good size police force here to...
It is a boost for police personnel at Badili and a challenge for Moresby Northeast and Northwest leaders to also invest in the strategic plan through their mega stations.
This plan sets the foundation and guide for all commanders to utilize, to provide policing services to the people of this country.
Come January 2016, the ranks of police station commanders at these mega stations and other suburban stations upgraded to Chief Inspector.
The 3 district commanders will then report to the Metropolitan Superintendent of the National Capital District.
Tekla Gunga, National EMTV News.
The delay in leave for entitlements caused a commotion between teachers and NCD Education Division this afternoon. Assistant Secretary Sam Laura admitted the system that processes payments is very slow because it's done manually. However, he assured teachers the NCD Education Division is working around the clock to ensure leave for entitlements are processed on time.
The commotion occurred as a result of the long overdue leave for entitlements.
Please keep the noise down.
But NCD Education Division Assistant Secretary Sam Laura attended to their demands and explained the situation was beyond their control because all documents were submitted for processing. Mr. Laura promised teachers his staff will work day and night to ensure payments for 600 teachers due for leave are processed. In a separate interview, he explains.
Teachers to get the entitlement, but we would like them to provide all the documents as accurately as possible so that, we can go through it quickly and everybody gets them. And sometimes the information is incorrect, so it slows down the whole process.
He said the NCD Education Division will rectify issues in a more transparent manner that will not affect teachers' leave entitlements in future.
As efficiently as possible and accurately and on time. However, there are a few issues that have come about that has delayed this process. We are doing it in a more transparent manner so that everybody gets the entitlement. That process is working all right.
Fabian Hakelitz, National EMTV News.
Meanwhile, the General Secretary of the PNG Teachers Association, Ugwalubu Moana, has called on the national government to release the final 30% of leave fare entitlements. Mr. Moana said the national government only released 70%, which is causing an inconvenience for many teachers.
The national government must release the remaining 30% of teachers' leave fare entitlements. The PNG Teachers Association, while appreciating the government's efforts, prioritizing in education and understanding its cash flow situation, said funds must be released to accommodate issues encountered with teachers' leave entitlements.
Let me put on record that there has been no cut on teachers' leave fare in 2015. Instead, there was an increase of about 7 million kina from last year. Last year was 26 million. This year, the government allocated 33 million kina for leave fares.
He said teachers deserve their money for time and effort in educating the nation. The leave fares must be immediately paid.
I'd like to ask the goodness of the government to deliver the leave fare final 30% to our teachers as soon as possible.
Mr. Moana said the dilemma on teachers crying foul over the leave fares is becoming a seasonal problem and the national government must investigate.
Provincial education divisions are blamed for all the discrepancies, all the lack of transparency, all lack of accountability, and to the bottom line of all this is the corruption that is going on in the provinces and in the education divisions.
Fabian Hakelitz, National EMTV News.
On a related note, the Teaching Services Commission is concerned about the administration and disbursement of teacher leave fares throughout the country. As of today, only 5 provinces have furnished reports on the status of the disbursement of teachers' leave fares. Teaching Services Commission has called on provincial education divisions and provincial treasuries to ensure teachers' leave fares are paid.
The implementation of teachers' leave fares has been a concern over the years. This year is no different, with many teachers throughout the country still awaiting their leave entitlements. Some of the causes of the delay have been the late release of leave fares money from the Treasury and accuracy of teacher information.
We noted that the tendency to provide fraudulent information seems to be increasing each year. That causes a major problem in screening and approving teachers who are due for leave and who have provided accurate information on themselves and their families.
Early this year, the Teaching Services Commission met with provincial education advisors to find resolutions to this delay. One of the resolutions was for the National Treasury to release the funds in September or October to provincial treasuries.
It is now the responsibility of the Treasury Department, National Treasury Department, to remit teachers' leave fares to provincial treasuries for provinces, and provincial treasuries to make available the leave fare money so that provincial education authorities then administer disbursement of teachers' leave entitlements.
However, this is not happening. Chairman of the Teaching Services Commission, Baran Sori, urged provincial education authorities to coordinate with their national counterparts to ensure the funds for teachers' leave fares are remitted. He clarified that there has never been a 30% cut in teachers' leave fares this year.
To date, I have not received any correspondence from Treasury Department to verify or to brief or inform the Commission that the 30% had been remitted or not. But we do understand, and the Papua New Guinea Teachers Association also do understand, that we cannot force the government, or we cannot force the system when there is no money.
This year, the government has appropriated over 33 million kina for teachers' leave fares, an increase of 6 million kina from 2014. Of this amount, 70%, which is over 22 million kina, has already been remitted to provincial treasuries. Mickey Cavera, National EMTV News.
And now a look at the finance news. The kina closed 5 points lower at $0.3345 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your kina was buying $0.3275 US, 0.4503 Australian dollars, 0.2962 euro, and 39.73 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold and copper closed higher, while coffee and cocoa closed the day lower. Copper closed lower, while palm oil and crude oil closed the day higher. And on the stock markets, the Dow Jones closed at 224 points higher, the ASX closed at 75 points higher, and the All Ordinaries closed 63 points higher. You're watching National EMTV News. We'll be back with more right after these messages. Welcome back to the news. Acting Chief Ombudsman Phoebe Sangatari says the Ombudsman Commission of Papua New Guinea is reviewing its leadership laws to make it more severe. This comes after concerns raised by the public in recent times over penalties that are lenient to those who misconduct in public office. This was announced in Kokopo during the 40th anniversary celebrations of the Ombudsman Commission in Papua New Guinea. Edwin Fidelis reports.
Today, the Ombudsman Commission gathered at Kokopo Market to celebrate its 40th anniversary in Papua New Guinea and its presence in the NGI region. Apart from the celebration, the event seeks to bring to the attention of the public yet again the existence of OC and the work they do. Today, the Acting Chief Ombudsman Phoebe Sangatari reaffirmed the work of the Ombudsman and their progressive plan of reviewing its leadership laws.
In the leadership code, under the leadership code investigations, once we refer the leader to the public prosecutor and he prosecutes them before the leadership tribunal, the maximum penalty under the leadership code is dismissal from office for only 3 years.
The 40 years of existence of the Ombudsman Commission in Papua New Guinea revolves around laws that remained largely unchanged since independence, and it wasn't an easy one for them, particularly when dealing with corruption in public office. Since independence, laws governing leadership has not been so effective that those who commit misconduct in office are not given harsh penalties. But that is now a thing of the past, the Acting Chief Ombudsman says.
In the discussion paper that we have distributed on the review of our laws, there are many issues that we have raised there for people's views, comments, to assist us on possible reforms to the law.
In 2013, the OC released this discussion paper to obtain public opinion on the penalties so that new laws governing leadership conduct can be redrawn. This comes at a time following allegations of widespread corruption in all sectors. The Acting Chief Ombudsman says today that the new laws will be tough, but that will be determined by the views they collect from both the government and the public. This means that those holding onto public office, if found guilty of breaching the leadership codes, will be given the same treatment as a criminal who robs a store. Edwin Fidelis, National EMTV News, Kokopo.
Buka Hospital has become the second hospital outside of Port Moresby to have the computed tomography or CT scan. The new equipment commissioned yesterday in Buka will save time and cost of accessing the same service in Port Moresby, Lae or overseas. The CT scan was purchased by the Bougainville Regional MP's office at the cost of 1.7 million kina under the Provincial Service Improvement Program funds. According to Regional MP Joe Lera, PSIP funds focuses on improving and expanding health services under the modernisation program. Parliament Speaker Theo Zurano has brushed aside critics of his moves to reform the Parliament, saying the aim is to unite all Papua New Guineans. Mr. Zurano also cleared his referral to the Ombudsman Commission, saying he has not received any letter of notification from the Ombudsman Commission to date.
The move to reform the National Parliament has come under much debate following Mr. Zuriano's move to change some of the long-term traditions in the Parliament. Mr. Zuriano was heavily criticized after he removed a number of traditional totems in the chambers of Parliament, something that sparked outrage from Grand Chief Sir Michael Somare, including a number of civil groups. However, in an interview with EMTV News, the Speaker said he is not attacking the culture of the country. Rather, he is trying to unite it through a common ideology.
Those were really ideological issues. It's not a fight against our culture. There's a misconception by members of the public who from the outside were thinking that we were attacking our culture, and they labeled me as a cultural terrorist and such, but that is a misunderstanding of the intentions of the parliament.
The speaker says the common ideology of the Christian faith is something that can unite Papua New Guineans.
United people are usually united upon a common ideology, and so I am promoting the notion of the Christian faith as an option for our people to come together upon.
On his referral to the Ombudsman Commission by the Catholic Professional Society, accusing the speaker for abusing his powers, Zirunok had this to say.
Up until now, I have not received a formal correspondence or advice from the Ombudsman Commission about the reference that was made known in the media to all of us.
Meanwhile, the speaker confirmed the parliament reform is well underway, with MPs showing support of this initiative. Stanley Over Jr., National EMTV News.
Members of the PNG Energy Workers Union have questioned the condition of the newly signed enterprise agreement between PNG Power Limited and the Public Employees Association signed recently. They say they are still waiting for the promised outcomes stated in the agreement. These include pay increases and accommodation for employees.
PNG EWA National President Edward Gisa says due to changes in the management and board level, there is no consistency in informing the employees of their entitlements.
Now, with these issues coming out like that in a frustrating way, it's resulted because if we have people in place to look at the issues, then it shouldn't happen like this.
Upset union workers argue that the enterprise agreement does not cover all employees with regards to housing and pay increase. Other members threaten to resign if the management of PNG Power Limited fails to address the concerns. They feel there has been lack of communication between the employees and management.
Workers need to know the direction where the company is heading. And we got to have some plans in place so that workers will know.
On November 17, PPL, Public Employee Association and Energy Workers Association signed the enterprise agreement to address pay rise and housing concerns for the employees. PPL's Human Resource General Manager, Edmond Lancaster, said the agreement took a long process to complete and said the conditions in the agreement apply to all employees.
The new enterprise agreement affects all of the employees up to grade 4. So obviously those people who are in the unions will also be part of that as well.
Following yesterday's meeting, an understanding was reached. PNG Energy Workers Association General Secretary Senti Magis says the management has produced a letter to comfort the union members.
Issues or disputes that may arise, we have a process through the consultative committee meetings that we are now being looking into those issues and now being addressed, given the assurance by the management of PNG Power Limited.
Marilyn Diaukatam, National EMTV News.
Turning overseas, and at least 11 are dead, with hundreds of thousands evacuated after the Philippines Typhoon Melo struck the country on Monday afternoon. Following much flooding and a blackout in the country's east and central islands, residents were rescued yesterday off rooftops, having escaped there after floodwaters increased sharply in Mindoro, one of the worst-hit islands. The worst of Typhoon Melo appeared to be over last night after it drifted into the South China Sea. Heavy rains in the capital of Manila inundated roads, causing traffic chaos, but floodwaters have receded. Electricity may not be restored until after Christmas, and over 200,000 remain in storm shelters. The governor for Mindoro said a sad Christmas is ahead for the Philippines' 7th largest island. Typhoons in the Philippines number at least 20 a year, the strongest often striking towards the end of the year. Trukai Sports is next. We'll show you pictures of the Pepes in action in Singapore. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. NRL PNG's League Belong Life conducted a school holiday clinic at the Korbase International School this week. This clinic was part of the League Belong Life program and involved students to learn the basic skills of rugby league.
The program is designed to engage students in rugby league skills developments, drills and games during school holidays.
This is first of its kind. We haven't had this program. We only had rugby union, talent development programs. However, this is the first time that we have in this NRL PNG program. And this program really looks at the values of life and also helps the students to get the attitudes correct in school. Also not in school, but also in their own family homes.
The students went through 4 different activities for the day, which included channels try scoring, agility, scramble and aeroplane wins. The sessions were conducted by the Games Development Officers from NRL PNG office.
The kids are having fun, so it's all about having fun. So whoever stand up, we're happy to teach them the basics and the drills about rugby league. They visited us while we were having the Sports Expo in the last 2 weeks, and they showed an expression of interest for us to come and run a program with them. So we've spoken about that, and they're happy for us to come back next year to run the League Belong Life program with their school.
This clinic was part of the League Belong Life program and promotes messages of respect and the importance of education. League Belong Life is a sports for development program delivered by the National Rugby League Australia in Papua New Guinea. Each time the NRL's development officers work with teachers to deliver League Belong Life, a program for girls and boys of all abilities. Mai Koime, National EMTV Sports.
Still on rugby league, Timothy Lepa has issued a press release confirming that he is set to take legal action against Mal Meninga as first defendant for breaching his contract as PNG Kumul's coach. He said also facing action is PNG Rugby League chairman Sandis Chaka as second defendant and former PNG RFL CEO Brad Tassel for the signing of Meninga's contract.
Former PNG Rugby League CEO Brad Tassel is the third defendant in the case as a result of Meninga's breach of contract in leaving his job as Kumul's coach, Lepa said in his statement. He also stated that he is taking the action on behalf of the people of Papua New Guinea as rugby league is the national sport and Meninga's contract was paid for out of taxpayers' money. Once the court uncovers the breach in Meninga's contract, then all contracts of technical advisors and board directors in the PNG Rugby League will be tabled in court so the court can review the contracts and decide if they are legal or illegal. In response, PNG RFL chairman Sandy Saka said everyone is entitled to their views.
I respect him. I don't agree with all of his views, but I respect him. He's a friend. So everybody's entitled to their views. No comment.
Lepa said the affidavits are now being compiled and are being submitted to a legal counsel who will decide if PNG Rugby League has a case to answer in the court of law. Elijah Lavet, National EMTV Sports.
Trukai Sports continues after the break. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. The PNG Pepes have continued their great form at the Nations Cup in Singapore after they defeated Singapore Invitational 37-36. In a tough encounter, the Pepes came out on top. It was their most challenging match the team has faced so far in the competition. Moving on to football, and PNG women's national coach Lisa Cole says a lot more work needs to be done to bring the under-20 squad up to scratch 12 months out from the World Cup. While she believes there is talent, the squad has yet to be finalized, with a lot more chopping before a quality side can represent the country next year. And that ends Trukai Sports. We'll be back with all the weather details after the break.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
Taking a look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours. First of all, in the southern region, Port Moresby, possible evening showers, a few showers in Daru, afternoon showers in Kerma, cloudy with rain in Altau, and brief showers expected in Popondetta. To the Momase region, brief showers expected in Ley, showers and rain in Wau, mostly fine in Madang and Wewak, and fine weather expected in Vanimo. To the New Guinea Islands region, afternoon showers expected in Lorengau, showers expected as well in Kavieng, a few showers in Kokopo, Rabaul and Kimbe, and showers and thunderstorms for Buka in the autonomous region of Bougainville. And in the Highlands region, Mount Hagen, Goroka, Kundiawa, Mendi and Wabag, you can expect some fog tomorrow morning as well as showers. In the news, Tonda Wildlife Management Area is one of the most diverse in the larger group of wetlands in the world, but is currently under threat from industrial pressure. Concerned individuals, including the Minister for Sports and National Events, Justin Chechenko, have been regular visitors to the area and now have written a book dedicated to the conservation of wildlife management area. The Tonda is a 112-page hardcover book that depicts the Tonda Wildlife Management Area in the Western Province in words and brilliant photography.
The Tonda, which was launched this week, was written by Glenn Armstrong with collective contributions from Justin Tuchenko and Lawrence Rowe, better known as Rocky Rowe. The book featured interviews with Rocky Rowe, Justin Tuchenko, local villagers near Bansback, and the owner of Bansback Fishing Lodge, Bob Bates. Mr. Glenn said these interviews expose the challenges that threaten the conservation of the wildlife area. According to Tuchenko, the Tonda was published in this way to promote the idea of it becoming a nature park to secure and preserve the natural habitats there, as well as cultures and traditions for future generations.
This is bigger than just Papua New Guinea, bigger than Western Province, bigger than the Tonda. But the Tonda is part of it because the wetlands, and Justin taught me this, the wetlands of the world are the lungs of the earth. It's how we all breathe. You know, if we don't protect it, forget it.
The book exhibits some of the most spectacular photographs by Rocky Rowe that capture the raw and natural beauty of the Tonda Wildlife Conservation Area.
On our borders, we have poachers. We have poachers coming through our borders, poaching the deer, poaching the fish, poaching the wildlife, and destroying this area. That's why this area must be protected and a national park.
Mr. Tuchenko said the area's only source of security at the moment was the wetland floods that kept out Indonesian poachers from over the border that occasionally cross over to hunt the rare deer population.
Our next challenge is to establish the Tonda Wildlife Management Area as a national park.
The Prime Minister Peter O'Neill addressed those at the event, saying in a letter that was read at the launch that the government was committed to preserving the unique and natural beauty of our country. He commended the authors of the book for their contributions in publishing this book. Melissa Govira, National EMTV News.
Now, before we go, a recap of our top stories. Minister announces 100% buyout of Media Niugini Limited. Telecom PNG CEO confirms Media Niugini Limited Acquisition. And teachers up in arms over the leave fares. And that's all we have for you tonight. On behalf of the entire EMTV News team, I'm Mary Batulo. Pleasant viewing. Good night.